Are you ready? I said, are you ready? For all the viewers and all the subscribers watching alongside, let's get ready for Just My Thoughts. Today's thought tracker, we're going to be talking about the NBA as there's only 6 games left in the league. That means playoffs are right around the corner, which doesn't mean much for most teams. But for two teams, it means everything in the world. There are two really historic franchises out there, or must-win scenarios. One being the LA Lakers, the other being the Chicago Bulls. So let's get started on that. We're going to start with the Lakers first and save the best for last. That's just how I roll. How you doing? And that being said, the LA Lakers have messed around all year just to have a 500 record. Luckily for them, the West is weak this year, so they're still floating around with the opportunity to make 8th seed. They're placed at the. They were ninth last night. They could have fell to 10th. They're competing for the 8th, which all means nothing legitimately. So basketball has evolved throughout the years. Now playoffs forever and a day. It used to be the top 8 seeds. Now they have a play-in bracket, so now it's actually top 10. So as long as they can just float around, get lucky, and even make 10th seed, it wouldn't necessarily matter. They're going to get playoff opportunities. That's just the way the league has evolved. So if you didn't know that, I'm already educating you. Yes, top 10 seeds make playoffs. Has been that way for the last couple of years. I don't know what generated the idea, but I'm all for it. And this is the reason why I'm all for it, because my guys are at the bottom of the barrel. So we'll get into that later. So anyway, LA Lakers. Situation is, beginning of the year, everything was all like, LeBron. Anthony Davis was hurt early in the year. So then he heals up, and as he heals up, LeBron gets hurt, right? So then it's all AD, and then, no LeBron. However, so they've been flip-flopping back and forth. This guy's getting rest because he's hurt. This guy's getting rest because he's hurt. And they're both, not in my opinion, but in the world perspective, people talk about these guys as the best players in the league. Anthony Davis is, currently, in my idea, probably top 10 players of the league. And at his position, power forward, center, whichever one he wants to do, because he kind of plays both depending on where he's played in his career. If you followed him, he does a little bit of both. And that's just kind of, he's not the only one. I'm not going to just brag on the guy. Actually, it kind of happens in the NBA now. Sometimes, you got guys that can play 3 positions. DeMar DeRozan does it. DeMar DeRozan plays small forward. He plays power forward. He can play shooting guard. So, again, we're not getting into the Bulls. We're talking about the Lakers. So, that being said, the problem is this. They're really, 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 really young. All right, they have two generational superstars, LeBron James, how you doing? And then they also have Anthony Davis, how you doing, who we're talking about. Again, these guys have been battling with injury. Now, finally, at the end of the year, when it all counts and it all matters, LeBron's fully healthy, and Anthony Davis fully healthy. This is what they're doing. They're knocking down the doors of everybody trying to get into the play-in spot, and I think that's going to happen. As a matter of fact, as we sit, it already is happening. If tomorrow were playoffs, the Lakers would be in. Just think about that. And then think about this as well. All together, or, outside of those two, you think, what do they got and how are they special? They really don't got much, and they're really not that special. But here's the problem. Anthony Davis by himself for half the year has won half their games. On the flip side of that, LeBron James by himself has won the other half of those games. Now that they're both healthy, you have to ask yourself, who can stop LeBron James? Well, for 15, 16 years, the league has proved nobody. And then you ask yourself again, who's going to stop Anthony Davis? Well, he's been in the league about 12 years. The league sources say nobody. So what are you saying? Are you saying the Lakers are a championship team? Absolutely not. I do think that they're going to get through the playoff position. I meant play-in position. I also think they're going to make it to the second round. Here's what I think is going to happen. They're going to catch a very cocky team that doesn't even really deserve to be where they're at, as Denver Nuggets. So the playoff or play-in position would be depending on if they finish 10th or not. So if they finish 10th, they'll play the 8th. If they finish 9th, they'll play the 7th. So they're either looking at the New Orleans Pelicans or they're looking at the OK City Thunder. Neither one of those guys can beat them, so that's why I'm saying play-in bracket, no problem. But so that means if they win the play-in bracket, they get placed at the 8th seed, right? And the 8th always plays the first, right? That's just history repeats itself. That's just how it works. I've been watching basketball my entire life. So who's in first in the West? The Denver Nuggets. That's bad news for the Denver Nuggets, and it's great news for, the LA Lakers. Here's the reason why. I'll tell you why. So you look at the Denver Nuggets, yeah, they're number one, but really what do they got? They got the Joker. They're like, oh yeah, they got the Joker. Hey, that's enough by himself. Is it really? Is it really enough by itself when you're facing a team that's going to have LeBron James and Anthony Davis? Is the Joker going to be enough? I don't think so. So then you're like, oh, they got Jamal Murray. Oh, Jamal Murray's pretty good. Oh man, that dude rocks. Does he really? Jamal Murray's been in the league 6 years. He's never led the league in points. He's never led the league in assists. He's never been in an all-star situation. He might have made all-stars this year, actually. I'm going to say he didn't, but he might have. I don't know. I should have stated that. However, Jamal Murray and the Joker are not going to take on LeBron James and Anthony Davis. Then you're like, well, the rest of the team might. Well, yeah, they might. But here's the thing. Dennis Schroeder's been in the league a while. He's been good. He's been good for the Lakers. He's been on the Lakers a few years. He asked for way too much money and didn't get it. However, he's proved his worth. They offered him, 5 years, $84 million. That's what they felt like. And he's like, can we push it to 120? And they're like, hell no, we're not going to push it to 120. So he did that to himself. Do not think that Dennis Schroeder can't play. He can play. And the Lakers know that he can play. And the Lakers want him to play, but they're not for over half of the salary cap. That's the thing. So then outside of Dennis Schroeder, so, if you wanted to package a big three, you're looking at LeBron James, you're looking at Anthony Davis, and then you're looking at possibly Dennis Schroeder. But then here you go, Troy Brown Jr. actually was a Bull. We got him from Boston, and the LA Lakers got him from us. He's been playing phenomenal for like the last month. I'm not going to say he's like a superstar, or I'm not even going to say he's a superstar in the making, but he's a very good, very average, very, hustle played guy. He can shoot the three ball okay. He can attack the basket very well, plays defense nicely, but he doesn't man up and play defense, right? He's the kind of guy that plays in the lanes of what you call transition defense. That's what he stands in for. He locks down the wing pretty tight. He can chase down the loose ball. So you kind of have to keep an eye on Troy Brown Jr. And then also like Thomas Bryant, right? You got to keep an eye on him too. When Anthony Davis isn't getting the rebounds, most of the time Bryant is. So you got to watch out for that. And also you also have to worry about, Hachimura, the guy they got from Houston Rockets. He was probably the Rockets' third best player, if not the second best player on that team. Why he was up for grabs, I do not know. Could have had to been doing with youth, could have had to do with attitude. Maybe he wanted money that Houston didn't want to give him. And LA's like, hey, we need a player. How about you come try us out? So that being said, this is going to be his first playoff appearance. He's young. He's ready. He's tight. I think, I'm telling you, if it happens, you heard it from me first. I think the LA Lakers going to the second round, and there they'll be matched up against Golden State Warriors, and by then they'll be tired, right? So play-in bracket, they're looking at OKC. After playoff bracket, or play-in bracket, they're looking at Denver. And then so round 2 for everybody will be actually round 3 for them, and they'll be looking at probably the Golden State Warriors. And like I said, there's going to be too much to ask of LeBron James and Anthony Davis, a two-man tandem to beat the entire West, in a month. It's just not going to happen. They'll make it flashy. They'll do good. They'll win some games. And I'm going to say this, they might beat, Golden State a couple of times. But I think Golden State Warriors are going to be definitely the winners of the West and quite possibly champions again, repeating again. This is just something that they do. Listen, this is I'm talking about the Lakers, but I'm just going to inform you that the Golden State Warriors, until they break up their three, and when I say their three, if you watch basketball, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Until Draymond, Clay, and Steph don't play together, those guys are going to just take the league by storm. They have been for about 12 years, and they're just going to continue. These guys, all they do is eat, sleep, and drink the three ball. Like, that's all they do. Wake up shooting threes, go to sleep shooting threes. That's what they do. And not only do they do it at a very high clip. So I don't see anybody, and I'll say this again, I do not see anybody beating Golden State Warriors in a game of 7. In a race to 7. That's just not going to happen on the west side or on the east side. So if I'm crowning a champion today before the playoffs ever start, the champion I'm crowning is the Golden State Warriors. Sorry about that for the rest of the NBA league. Especially sorry to the Chicago Bulls because I love you guys. You guys are my team. But let's be honest, we're not winning the title. So come on. Let's give up that. So, team to watch, team to fear, team to keep an eye on it, especially if you're counting them out, is the LA Lakers. Now, let's break down the Chicago Bulls. It's essentially the same exact situation, right? The Chicago Bulls are 10th in the East. They screwed around all year long. Why? I don't know. They've been, to me, I think it's the Alonzo Ball effect. That's just what I'm going to call it. So they waited around after him to get healthy. They thought, well, if we can get him by All-Star break, we'll sneak around in the six. We'll be just where we were last year. What could anybody say? And then that didn't happen. Let's be honest. Lonzo never came back. As a matter of fact, the sources say that Lonzo Ball has already had another surgery, so he's going to miss all of next year. Truth be told, the Chicago Bulls need to look past Lonzo Ball. We need to worry about not even a point guard, and I'll get into that here in a little bit. We got to worry more about team play as of right now. Focus on the playoffs as of right now. Look at what we are, who we are, and what we can do. And I think that's a lot. This is going to sound crazy, and everyone's going to be like, oh, you just love the Bulls, blah, blah, blah. But I'm about to tell you guys a whole lot of gold. So first of all, our big three, we have Zach LaVine, we have DeMar DeRozan, and we have Nikola Vucevic. For those who don't know, Nikola Vucevic currently is third in the NBA as far as double-doubles. Leading the NBA in double-doubles, he's the third. Quite possibly the highest underrated center in the league. If I say he's the best, people are going to call me crazy, but I'm telling you, Nikola Vucevic probably is the best center in the NBA. Just check it out, the stats. I'm going to give you a few numbers, but I'm not giving you everything. You're going to have to just watch the guy. If you want to know his value, watch a Bulls game. It's very exciting. It's very exciting to be a Chicago Bulls fan, even though we're the 10th seed. Nikola Vucevic is third in assists on the team. On the team, he's a center, okay? Third in assists. He leads us in rebounds. And he's third in points. And to his credit, I don't think he's missed a game all year. If he has, he hasn't missed more than 5 or 6 games all year. So on top of him getting all these points, on top of him getting all these rebounds, on top of him getting all these assists, on top of him being 7-foot center, he's also the healthiest player we have. So go figure that. And then here's the crazy thing about the Chicago Bulls fan base. Everybody, they always think, oh, the Bulls have been dead since Jordan. That's not true at all. First of all, we've had really good teams after Mike. In 06, they called us the Baby Bulls. We were really good. We had Luol Deng, Kirk Hinrich, Ben Gordon. Also, we had Ben Wallace. We had a squad that we thought was going to go to the show. They got snubbed by Miami Heat and Dwayne Wade and Shaquille O'Neal. And then again, 2012, 2013, 2011, I backtracked a little bit, 2014, so now I'm going back forward again. So about 3 or 4 years in a row, we had a very solid, very dominant team. Carlos Boozer, Joakim Noah, Derrick Rose, Luol Deng, the story. Kirk Hinrich are still around. And Miami, again, they give us all we were worth. But it was fun, it was interesting, and it took the Miami Heat's big three, LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh, to beat us and to keep us out. So if it wasn't for them being created, and really, truthfully told, if it wasn't for Derrick Rose blowing his knee, we probably would have won titles 3 years in that range. From 11 to 14, we should have won the East and won the NBA 3 years in a row. We're long shots to do it now, but, we're overdue. Seriously, we are seriously overdue, not only just winning a championship, but a three-peat, right? So we're the first people in history to three-peat. We're the first people in history to have 2 three-peats. So it's just overdue. Not only do we need to win 1, we need to win 3 of them. That's what the Chicago Bulls do in history. That's what they've always done. That's what I like to see. So talking about threes, right? 3, 3, 3. This is what I'm talking about right now. This is how good we are. So our big three, again, Zach LaVine, Nikola Vucevic, DeMar DeRozan. Everyone said that, oh, you guys are so crazy. DeMar DeRozan, he's so old. You guys are giving him $88 million. Oh, my God, that's a lot of money. We did that year before last offseason, in case you guys didn't know that. You guys know that now, which means he's coming up on free agency, not this summer, next summer. We have to consider how to save him. To me, answer is very, very, very simple and not complex at all. So we signed Lonzo Ball 4 years, $64 million, the same time we signed DeMar. And so here's the problem with that. Lonzo played 35 games year 1, missed all of year 2, which was this year, going to miss all of year 3, which is next year, and no one even knows if he's going to play year 4, right? So if you don't get rid of him now, he's going to continue to be a problem. He's already been a problem by not being on the field, or court, excuse me. So the question is, how long do you want this problem to continue? Me, I'm done with it. I'm over it. I don't even think we need Lonzo Ball. Why? Because we don't need a point guard. Why? I'll tell you why. Kobe White. So here's the question. The question is, We drafted Kobe White. As a rookie, he led us as a starter. Second year sophomore, he led us as a starter. Third year, was the problem, right? Third year was the problem because that's the year we got Lonzo. But then Lonzo goes down and everyone expects Kobe to start, right? But then he doesn't. A rookie does. Who? Ayo Dosunmu. What? I'm sorry, it just happened. I'm not the coach or the manager. I'm just a fan, in the fan base. Ayo Dosunmu completely, erased Kobe White. And then not only that, so at the start of the year, we knew we were starting the year without Lonzo. Who gets the nod to start? Ayo Dosunmu. Who starts all year long? Ayo Dosunmu. Ayo Dosunmu is great. Listen, I'm not saying he's terrible. I'm saying I love the kid. He's from Illinois. He played, at the Orange and Blue. So he's great. He's a great guy. He's reliable and he's young. So I get it. But here's what I don't get. Why did we give up on Kobe White to begin with? I've seen games in the past, not this year, but in the past, his sophomore year, second year in the league, I've seen him shoot the lights out in the gym, go 7 from 9 from the 3-point, and score 24 points. So that's pretty much essentially all his points at the 3-pointer. And then, he's quick. If you don't believe it, just watch him run. He can attack the basket. So attacked the basket once, got that, got fouled, got the end, won 24 points to finish the game. I mean, and he does that. He's done that this year. Very streaky. He shot 7 for 11 3 nights ago, and everyone's like, "Oh my God, Kobe White. I don't know why we don't start him." I'm sitting here thinking, well, we used to. I don't know why we don't now. So here's the thing: do we need Lonzo Ball? No. Why? Because of Kobe White, not because of Ayo Dosunmu, but because of Kobe White. So let's get more into this. Break it down. Not needing Lonzo Ball. What have we done all year long? We've struggled, waiting on him. We've been forced to try to find ways to win without him. But all year long, right? We've been losing games that were one possession games, or very rarely have we got blowed out. First of all, basketball is 82 game season. So if you didn't know that, you know that now. How you doing? And if you didn't know that, you shouldn't be watching basketball because that's like the world known fact is 82 games a season. So you're supposed to know that stuff. Play 2K. Get out of here. So anyway, here's the thing. We've been playing funny all year long because of this Lonzo Ball effect. That's what I'm saying. This has been a problem. It's been a problem not having him, but we found a way to play without him. Not a very good way. If I were Billy Donovan, essentially this is what I would do. I'd look at the team, look at the players, look at what I got, and then I'd say, okay, Zach LaVine, are you serious? We paid you $153 million, 5-year extension. It's time for you to get off your ass, stop shooting all these threes, and start being a relative ball player. You know what Zach wants to do? Listen, I love Zach LaVine, but this is what he wants to do. He wants to catch the ball, he wants to shoot the ball. He wants to catch the ball, he wants to shoot the ball. He doesn't care how many he makes. He cares about how many he shoots. And that's the problem with Zach LaVine. And that's a true problem. So here's what I would love to see. Like to see that transition, right? I'd love to see him become a starting point guard. I'd like to see him average about 26 points along with 12 assists, along with about 7 rebounds. I'm asking him to do a lot, but I'm paying him a buttload of freaking money. Are you kidding me? We have to find a way to save Nikola Vucevic this year because of how much money we gave Zach. And I already told you earlier, if you've been paying attention, what Nikola Vucevic does for us. If you do not think Nick is the most important Bull, you are not a Chicago Bulls fan. It's a joke to think that we can win without him. It's a joke to think that we need to let him go. It's a joke to think that we can move past a better center than Nikola Vucevic. You're just not going to, in my opinion. He's the best in the league, and that currently is my favorite player in the league. So for forever and a day, for about the last 8 years, Jimmy Butler's been my favorite player. But here's the thing. Sometimes you watch basketball and you think about positions, right? How very rare do you ever just get to watch basketball and just get to enjoy it? If you just watch basketball and just watch the things that Nikola Vucevic does, and then you can try to convince me that there's people better than him, I know you're not going to convince me, but I don't even think you're going to convince yourself. He's literally that good, a generational talent, and he's 32 years old. What does that mean? Oh, it means he's old. No, it's not. It means he can play for 5 more years. It means he deserves a $100 million contract. It means that he already plays for what Zach is already getting. Do you understand what I'm saying? We give Zach way too much money, and we got to change the way we play. So, what do? If you're Billy Donovan, this is what I do. Zach LaVine, starting point guard. Then I'd have Alex Caruso, starting shooting guard. Then have DeMar DeRozan, starting small forward. Then have the most important player on the team, Nikola Vucevic, fill the shoes at our weakest position. Our weakest position is the Chicago Bulls, a power forward, and we got a guy that can do it, and he doesn't. That's our problem. So, Nick, go fill the shoes of our problem. Thank you. And then we're going to give you $150 million just because we love you. Thank you. I mean, that's what I want. Again, this is just my thoughts. And then, of course, Andre Drummond, who is obviously probably the lowest paid superstar in the world, not in the NBA, in the freaking world. If you just Google, if you're bored and you want to know how good Andre Drummond really is, just Google how many seasons he's led the NBA in rebounds. The answer is 6. 6 years that he's played. He's only played, I'm just going to throw a number out there. I can't really stat it right now. 6 years in Detroit, 2 years in Brooklyn, 1 year with us, year 9. And so 6 out of 9 years, he's led the league in rebounds. You freaking kidding me? He's been an All-Stars 4 times. You freaking kidding me? And then, like, we pay this guy literally $4 million for a 2-year deal. So he has to come back next year pretty much for free agency money. It's ridiculous. This guy needs to be signed at a higher rate. I see Andre Drummond around 40, 50 million. And for 4 or 5 years, the dude's not even 30 years old yet. What? I said he's not even 30 years old yet. Andre Drummond is 28 years old. We lock him down for another 5 years. We lock Nikola Vucevic down for another 5 years. We still have Zach on contract for 4 more years. We find a way to lock down Alex Caruso. Lock down Alex Caruso. Yeah, if you don't know Alex Caruso, maybe you should watch a Chicago Bulls game. Alex Caruso is definitely the best on-the-ball defender and off-the-ball defender in the NBA. He's definitely the best defender in the NBA. If you don't believe me, just watch him play. Alex Caruso, sometimes he's so impressive. And when you watch a Bulls game, like you got Stacey King over, Stacey King's like, oh my God, there's 5 Carusos. Okay, but he's been saying that all year long. So I'm just saying, maybe Alex Caruso's underpaid. Now, here's the thing. We gave him 3 years, $23 million. So when it's time for him to re-sign, which will be at the end of next year, he's going to be worth $60 million. We've got to find a way to keep the team that we got minus Lonzo Ball. So all the Lonzo Ball money has to go into players like Nikola Vucevic, has to go into players like Andre Drummond, have to go into players like Alex Caruso. So, oops, sorry about that. For 1 second, let me get that off of there. All right. So sorry about that. So, anyway. Losing Lonzo Ball, saving the team. It's very important for all Chicago Bulls fans to see us make the playoffs. That's going to happen. We're sitting at the 10th seed, but we're not going to lose any more games. There's 6 games left. I expect us to win 5 out of the 6. What? We're going to lose one of them? Yeah, I'm sorry. We're going to lose one of them. We got a very tough matchup down the road that we're not going to be able to get ahead of. So we're going to lose, and it's the Timberwolves, in case you're wondering who I'm worried about. I'm worried about the Timberwolves. Are they good? No, they're not good. But they got 2 giant monsters, right? You know, Cat. In case you don't know who Cat is, it's Karl Anthony Towns. And then Rudy Gobert. So you got to watch out for guys like that. I don't expect us to win that game. I expect us to be not really smashed. We're going to be competitive, but we're probably going to lose. They play at an attack now rate, and we play at a catch the ball and shoot rate. So most of the time when you're shooting threes, you're not even playing transition defense. You're kind of shocked that you just missed your shot, and the other team's already got the rebound and going up the court. So that being said, like I said, our biggest problem, I mean, I just hate to call people out, but I'm going to call people out, is got to be Billy Donovan. We have a catch and shoot mentality that's coaching a team that should be attack now and ask questions later team. You're like, what? Well, you got Zach LaVine, who can attack the basket. You got Kobe White that can attack the basket. You got Ayo Dosunmu that can attack the basket. You have a guy like Derrick Jones Jr. that can attack the basket. Doesn't even get a lot of playing time. The dude's already been he's been a dunking champion. That's right. He's won the slam dunk contest before. He's only been in the league for 4 years. Actually, Derrick Jones Jr. is not well known. He's very young. He could probably be signed to a 4-year, maybe $18 million for 4-year deal. And you're like, that's kind of cheap. Well, you know, he can't really do much but attack the basket. He's not a very good dribbler. He's not a very good defender. He's not a very good three-point shooter. But if he's open, he's gonna dunk it from the free throw line. He's MJ, baby, MJ Jr. He's just gonna get out there. He's gonna launch his body, you know, hope to draw a foul and try to dunk over you. He's an attacker. So, you know, guys like that have places, though, you know, in this league, they have homes. So that being said, here's the thing that's shocking about the Bulls. Even though we're 10th in the seed, and 10th in the East, we're looking at the bottom of the rank. We've got a big 3 I've been naming all night, but here's something special. Here's something that most teams you never even think about trying to do that we have done thanks to Billy Donovan. So I was just throwing hate, but I'm also going to throw a little bit of truth in there. So he is the reason why we have um, Patrick Williams on the bench, Kobe White on the bench, Ayo Dosunmu on the bench, and Patrick Beverly is now our starter. Patrick Beverly took Ayo Dosunmu's place. Now, is Patrick Beverly better than Ayo Dosunmu? No. One-on-one, Ayo is probably going to win. I'd say that. I'd say if they played 10 times, Ayo wins all 10 times. But Patrick Beverly, he does something a little bit special. He can rebound the ball. Listen, as a point guard, he probably averages 9 rebounds a game as a point guard. That's incredible. And then again, assist. He probably averages 8 or 9 assists a game. That's incredible. So this guy is getting the ball and scoring the ball without shooting the ball. That's why he's a starter. That's why he's a point guard. And also plays very, very, very aggressive defense. Did I say good defense? No, I didn't say good defense. He's going to foul a bunch, probably 6 times a game. I'm not 6 times because then he'd be out of the game. But he's going to foul 5 out of 6 times. Almost every time he shows up. He's aggressive. Here's the thing about aggressiveness. Most of the time when you got these younger cats coming on the court, you got somebody like Patrick Beverly running up to you 90 miles an hour, ready to swap the ball. You're going to be like, oh my God, what am I going to do? And throw the ball too soon, not too ready, and he's going to pick it. Or you're going to throw it out of bounds, or you're going to throw it when the other guy's not ready and someone else is going to pick the ball. Aggressiveness in the NBA is a dead talent, but also is a much needed design. A lot of teams look for guys like Patrick Beverly. That's why Patrick Beverly has been in the league for 9 years. I'm not just hating on the guy. I'm just saying he's not going to win a shootout. He's not going to impress you dunking the ball. But what he's going to do is impress you with how many times the ball is actually in his hands in a basketball game. That is the impressive stat that a lot of people don't count for. So anyway, back to what we're saying here. Yeah, the Chicago Bulls have a big 3. We also have a small 3. I just named them. What? A small 3. So that means we got 6 premier guys. Most people only have 3 premier guys. We got 6 of them. The big names are Zach. The big names are Vooch. The big names are, DeRozan. Here's the smaller names: Patrick Williams, Kobe White, Ayo Dosunmu. At any given night, these dudes can light you to shreds, and they all play together. So here's the thing. What happens when all 3 of them are in a good mood and all 3 of them decide, hey, we're going to have a contest so you can outscore somebody? Coming off of the bench, if you got 3 people all getting around 20 points a game, around 20, some of them might get, say, I'm just going to throw this out here. I think this happened 2 weeks ago, so I'm just going to say it. I'm going to say Patrick Williams for 16, Kobe White for 24, Ayo Dosunmu for 14. So, when you can accumulate 50, 60 points off the bench from 3 players, so that doesn't even include what Andre brings to the table, because most of the time Andre is their center most of the time, because Nick is our starting center. So Andre plays the backup center. That's how that works. And then most of the time they have an in-between. Sometime for half the season, it was Javonte Green before he got hurt. Then it became Derrick Jones Jr. DJJ is all right. He's all right. You know what he is to me? He's the same thing as Iman Shumpert. Iman Shumpert never really impressed nobody, but he played a hell of a long time. That's what DJJ is. He's going to play a long time. He's going to be on a lot of teams. He's already been on 3. So if we don't re-sign him, he'll get a 4th team. Mark my words on that. Everybody loves somebody that can dunk. You got to sell posters, right? So I said all that to say this. If Billy Donovan pulls his head out of his butt, I got to speak respectfully, because I hope that my daughter's going to watch me and be like, oh, yeah, look at my dad. Look at all this cool stuff. So we're not going to cuss a lot. Anyway, if he pulls his head out of his butt, the Bulls can actually make a butt ton of noise in the playoffs. So the play-in bracket's going to be easy. What? It's going to be easy? Yeah, it's going to be very easy. I understand we're 10th seed, but that means the sky's the limit. We only can go up from there, right? Then who's number 1 in the league right now on the east side of the ball? Boston Celtics. It could change to Milwaukee. Obviously, it's probably going to stick to Boston. That's going to be a problem, but that's going to be a fun problem. What? A fun problem? What are you talking about? I'm talking about this. Chicago Bulls coming out of the play-in bracket, the winners for the 8th seed, going in there against Boston. Okay, do you know what's significant is this? Boston put us out 2018. And it was funny because we had Jimmy Butler, we had Rajon Rondo, we had Dwayne Wade. And Boston was who I asked for. I was like, man, this is the year we're going to sneak a title, all we got to do is beat Boston. Well, we didn't. We didn't beat Boston, and Boston ended up finishing up that year and competing for a title. And then so last year I was like, oh, you know what? Sixth seed's going to be all right as long as Boston stays around there. Maybe we'll pick on them. We'll beat Boston. Well, we didn't even get to play Boston. We played Milwaukee, and that lasted every bit of 5 games. We only won one. Milwaukee beat the crap out of us. So that's the truth about that. But this year is different. Why? Why? Because this year we have Andre Drummond, right? So, Al Horford, he's a big old body that can shoot a three, and he can make some noise, but Al Horford doesn't do anything that Vucevic doesn't do. So that's okay. And when Vucevic needs rest, here comes Drummond. What do you think Al Horford at 36 years old and ready to retire going to do against the big cat? I like calling him the big cat. Actually, I'm stealing that from Stacey King. Stacey King calls him the big cat. I think he's like a jaguar, man. He looks so ferocious. He's so quick. He's so fast. When he comes in and dunks, man, it's just like, holy hell, how does a man move so quick, so big? He's a big, giant dude, but he's ferocious like a bear. I think he's playing the wrong sport. Andre Drummond, you need to come play defensive end for Chicago Bears. How you doing? Yeah, I'm being kind of serious about that. I said the same thing with Jimmy Butler years ago. I was like, damn, Jimmy Butler needs to be our wide receiver. How you doing? It just happens, man. You watch one sport, but you think about another, and then you think about the players that would fit in. Andre Drummond would fit in anywhere. Basketball, baseball, football. I'm sure he'd fit in playing soccer. What? Playing soccer? What is he going to do? Play goalie. How the fuck are you going to kick the ball past him? That's what I'm saying. So he's a huge addition to this team. He is very underutilized. He would be my starting 5, but I don't run the team. He would have played every game this year except for the games that he didn't want to play, and he damn sure would make a hell of a lot more than $8 million in 2 years. That's $4 million a year for a basketball player. Is not very good. So, say what you want, but I would have given him a buttload more money for a hell of a lot longer time, and I've been proud that he was a Chicago Bull. So, anyway, what's going to happen? We don't know. Playoffs aren't even here yet. I'm just saying what I want to happen, what I think is going to happen. What I think is going to happen is Chicago Bulls are going to shock everybody. Has there ever been an AC win a title? No. Will there ever be? Nobody knows. Is there an opportunity? Opportunity's right now. The opportunity is right now. It's all up to the Bulls to believe in themselves, buy into what they're doing, and start winning these games. Here's the thing. Last year, they went on a 35 winning game streak. All right, now Lonzo was part of that winning streak, but now that we understand there is no more Lonzo, that doesn't mean that we don't know how to win. So if we won 35 games in a row last year, if we do that right now, guess what that means? That means we win a championship. The NBA champions, Chicago Bulls. Ooh, that's what's going to happen. I mean, that's what could happen. I'm not going to say that's what's going to happen. But with DeMar DeRozan, with Zach LaVine, with Nikola Vucevic, if they don't make it to the third round of these playoffs, then I'm going to have to completely consider watching as many games as I watched this year. So I'm not trying to brag, but I watched 67 games this year, and we're on game 74, 75. Tonight's 75. 6 games left. So I've watched a butt ton of Chicago Bulls this year. Actually, shockingly enough, probably the most Bulls I've watched in my entire life. And I've been a lifelong fan for as long as I've learned how to break down the game, as long as I've learned how to talk and learn who players were. I've been up in it. I've been in it a lot. But I think competitively, the most I've ever watched in this season was 44 games. This year, I'm up to 64. So I'm way up there. I'm really buying into this team. I think this team is talented. I love it when Kobe White's hot. I love it when Zach LaVine's passing the ball. And I love it every night just watching Nikola Vucevic come onto that court, baby. I want to see it for 5 more years. That being said, I actually have a game to get ready for. So I'm going to wrap things up. If you like what you've seen and you love what you heard, feel free to cash at me. Erick Daniel Coughlin, #Coughlin Pride.